Greetings and salutations everyone, I'm Ekmek, this is Oxygen Not Included. You probably don't recognize this space. We're having a little special treat today, a little bit of a Let's Finish project going on here. So first of all, what's this base about? This is a DLC base, for a start. We started on the Frosty Planetoid, which means our printing pod is frozen. We start off with a lot of snow tiles and a wood pile over here for a starting source of energy, heat, etc., building materials, etc., etc. But keep in mind that this is also a game with the prehistoric DLC, which is why in our kitchen over here we have a Rex. I just thought it would be funny to keep a Rex in our carbon sink for the food storage. We've done actually a lot. So we have plastic. I got plastic by using the polymer press with nectar, because that's a thing that you actually do with the... What you do is you plug in pipes to these bonbon trees, and when they get enough sunlight they actually produce nectar. Nectar can be turned into plastic, so that's my source of plastic. I have a few starts of for cooling loops, but there's only one real cooling loop in the facility, and that's the one in my oxygen system. I need to point out, oxygen is really hard to get going in the early game if you're trying to avoid locavore, because the source of oxygen is supposed to be Alveo Vera, and yeah, that counts as a planted plant, so you miss out on that. So maybe I should have saved an image of it, but there's one specific build that I've seen that uses wood and a lot of manual labor to make an early game oxygen supply. But after I get that going, I just go to my usual spawn building, which is kind of plugged into this. I've also travelled to the other planetoid where I have a hatch farm, like so. It's not in best condition at the moment because sedimentary rock is running out, but we have plenty of granite that we can feed them, and they are stone hatches. Down here I actually have a small offshoot ranch for smooth hatches because I want the down the hatch achievement. So they get all my iron and then I ship it back home. We do have an oil base down here. I'm working on building an oil refinery, but we haven't quite finished our work with that yet. There's fossils around. I've gotten 3 of the fossils worked with, but I need to get a proper heat trap system. Or rather, I need to vacuum this area out before I go in there because it is going to be very hot. Not the hottest thing ever, but still rather hot. We can turn water into oil here, but only when I feel I'm powered up for it. I've only recently gotten past super sustainable so I can get my my coal up and running. So I can start installing coal generators for power, but I don't want to overdo it because I don't want to drown us in carbon dioxide and kill us with heat. This is my early method of dealing with heat. Unfortunately, I just do not have enough hydrogen to run it. Because swapping over from my basic oxygen system to an advanced oxygen system with a gas reservoir, flow reservoir, turns out getting 1,000 kilograms of hydrogen means that you end up being slightly starved for the rest of your facility. So yeah, we have a coal generator over here. When the carbon dioxide reaches the absolute bottom, it reaches the carbon... Actually, wait, no. So the actual reason for doing this run, like everywhere else is really cold, but when you get down to the bottom of a Frosty Planetoid, that's when you get the geothermal heat pump. This is actually an ending for the game, but it's not easy. For a start, you need to have a good steam turbine system for getting rid of all the water you pump. So the goal, you put liquids in, liquids come out of any geo vents that you've connected. Alright? Alright. So you need to have a system that will quickly turn the steam that comes out should you pump in some sort of water You need a system to turn it back into water and then send it back up. It's a pretty good power system, I guess? Yeah, pretty good. But it costs steel to get them all up, and it costs steel to get this up and running, so you can't go in unless you've got at least some sort of industry. I have the thermo aqua tuner here, which keeps the steam turbines from overheating. Because remember, steam turbines do delete heat, but they're still generating it. I eventually hooked it into a power transformer, so we can split up the electricity a little bit better. I have a heavy watt wire and a power shutoff system here so that I don't burn out the wires like I was at the start. We have 2 geovents, that's nice. But there's one geovent that starts out blocked. You can't use this because there's a lump of solidified lead in it. This geovent is obstructed by a lead mass. It will become usable once the obstruction has been cleared by piping in liquids hot enough to melt it. You can't do that with standard water, so what I actually did in this humongous mess of spaghetti, I pipe in oil. I have been having it sit around this area for a while, but it did stop. It's not as effective as I'd have liked it to be, because I didn't have enough oil at the start, but not the point. And then, after sending it through a metal refinery, it comes out really hot. The current temperature is 334.7 degrees Celsius. To melt lead, we need 327.5. So the question is, does the lead that comes through here, is that going to drop the average enough? Or is this going to be just enough? We're going to find out in a second, because here comes that final batch of oil. I think. We should have enough oil to finish the job. I was originally using this as a way to filter water without having to run it through a salinator or a water sieve, but then I realized if I really want to make this work, I need to pump oil in, and I need to pump superheated oil. Yep, the average is dropping. Oh hey, here comes the autosave in case I messed up. Because I don't know what will happen when I start pumping superheated oil out of these geovents. I don't know whether I'm supposed to block this geovent so it goes out this one, or what. And is this actually enough oil, or do we need one more batch of metal refinery? We need one more batch with the oil refinery. But that said, there's no way it's going to drop the average enough, so this is actually going to work out here. How close? Oh, here we go. Harold's refining something. And there goes the last batch of oil. The thing is, I didn't actually have enough oil to fully block up the geothermal heat pump, so I had to start importing it, but then it was setting in the liquid pipes because we didn't have enough iron. And heating up... my duplicants have cleared the obstructed geovent. We can now maximize the full potential of this formidable heat and power source, and perhaps experiment with input temperatures to produce more interesting secondary bioproducts. My duplicants seem keen to commemorate this achievement by keeping the obstruction as something of a trophy. Imperative achieved. Full speed ahead. Oh hey, lead! Cool. Though the journey has been long and marked by challenges that often seemed insurmountable, we have prevailed in harnessing this planet's core potential. We now stand proudly at the precipice of a sustainably powered future. It is deeply humbling. I am hopeful that we have learned enough to wield this machinery more wisely than those who came before us. I don't know what alert went off, but yeah. Unfortunately, there's a different DLC initiative for the prehistoric pack, but we can't make use of that in the same run that we get. It depends on what planet you start on, is what I'm saying. Oh yeah. So, all that oil is now petroleum. Oh boy, we never want to do that again, do we? So yeah, I did try setting up an internal heat drain. And as you can see, it's now giving me a warning, hey, this is coming out way too hot. But yeah, that's one ending to Oxygen Not Included. So, I guess until next time, guys, take care. I'll see you all around. Maybe I'll actually finish. Maybe someday I'll go back and finish Oxygen Not Included properly, but for now, we have this. Until then, guys, until next time, guys, take care. I'll see you all around.